Hey, welcome back to Livin MN Outdoors. I'm Daniel, and thanks for tuning in to another fishing report. Before we dive into this week's fishing report, just want to remind you guys, if you use any of the guides or resorts mentioned in today's report, please let them know you saw them on Livin MN Outdoors. Now, we're a little over a week and a half into this year's fishing season, and it has been a great start to the fishing season. At least it was until the cold front and all of the cold rain moved in. Local around us in the Sherburne County area, we were doing very well on crappies and walleyes in that shallow water, anywhere from 2 to 6 foot. But that cold water has scattered the fish a bit. But now, towards the end of this week, they have started to school back up and things are picking up. Now, we're going to dive right into the fishing report on Mille Lacs Lake. Like I said before, the cold weather and the cold rain, they really scattered fish. But the fishing has started to pick back up as of Wednesday afternoon. And the fishing is pretty decent now today. As far as walleye fishing, the main areas you can look for those walleyes is in that 16 to 20 feet of water on the rocks or the sand. The best ways to catch those walleyes right now is a slip bobber and a leech, although some guys are picking them up on jigs and minnows and jigs in plastics as well. Now, one area that I know has been very good is Miramar, and then up on the north end on those sand breaks. That first sand break has been very good, so those are two great areas to target right now. Now, as far as the smallmouth bass bite goes, finding the majority of the smallmouth in that 8 to 12 foot of water. There are some smallmouth up in even shallower, but they tend to be a little bit smaller and a little more sluggish. Now, best ways to catch those smallmouth is on a small Ned rig, and you need to work that Ned rig very slow. But as things start to kind of calm down here, the winds die down, the temperatures stabilize, hair jigs and jerk baits, especially purple colored jerk baits, are really going to start picking up. Now, for those smallmouth, you're going to want to look for those secluded boulders, those scattered rock. That's where the majority of the smallmouth are hanging out. If you get a real calm day, even some top water is working. And the spawn is going to start here fairly soon, so be ready to head up to Mille Lacs Lake because the best smallmouth fishing is going to happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Now, as far as the perch bite goes, not a ton of people targeting perch, but I have started to hear of a few guys catching them. They're finding them anywhere in that 20 to 28 foot of water. They've basically moved offshore. They're finding them out on the mud and some of those deeper gravel structures. And there are some real big perch being caught out on Mille Lacs Lake. Now, if you guys are looking to hire a guide out on Mille Lacs Lake, we are partnering up with Keeper's Guide Service. Joe runs a great operation. He offers 4, 6, and 8-hour trips, and he does offer evening trips out on Mille Lacs Lake. Kind of a little bit something different than going out on a launch. Kind of that same format. You go out, you throw slip bobbers, you maybe do some jigging, 3, 4 guys. It's $60 a person for the evening, and it is a blast catching those Mille Lacs Lake walleye and smallmouth bass. So if you're looking to hire a guide up on Mille Lacs Lake, go ahead and give Joe a call from Keeper's Guide Service. All right, now moving over to Lake Winnie. Same old story, guys. That cold weather, it really hurt the walleye bite out on Winnie, but the bite is really picking back up, and guys are having a ton of success catching eater fish and those slot fish in that 18 to 23 inch range. Still, best way to catch those walleyes out on Winnie right now is a jig and a minnow. Specifically a spot tail shiner, although a fathead and a rainbow is working as well. The best depth range as of right now is at 9 to 15 foot. the North Shore, Tamarack Bay, Tamarack Point. Some of those big flats off of Tamarack Point are producing a ton of fish. And if it is windy or you can find some dirtier water, they are still finding a few of them fish in even shallower, in that 5 to 9 feet of water. So don't be afraid to sneak up close to shore. Now, as far as the perch bite goes, not a ton of perch are being caught. I suspect that they are out deeper. I heard that a few are being caught over in Cutfoot, up in the shallower weeds. But out on the main lake of Winnie, I suspect the majority of those fish are in that 18 to 24 foot of water right now. Now, as far as panfish goes, there are some panfish starting to show up in Tamarack Bay, that 5 to 8 feet of water on the sparse weeds. And then over in Cutfoot, they're starting to pick up some bluegill and crappies as well, in that same depth of water on those weeds that are starting to grow. Now, some of the better ways to catch those panfish: slip bobber with a chunk of a night crawler or a fathead or crappie minnow. Otherwise, you can throw a small jig or a hair jig, tip it with a little bit of meat, and you're more than likely going to catch both bluegill, crappies, and some nice perch. Now, as far as the pike fishing goes, the pike are kind of everywhere. Some guys are starting to pull spinners for walleyes, but they're having a ton of success catching pike on those. So if you specifically want to catch pike, pull around a spinner rig, tip that with a shiner or a rainbow, and you're going to catch a bunch of pike. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Lake Winnie, the Pines Resort, they do have cabins, they have campsites, full bar and restaurant, fish cleaning shack, rental boats, live bait, whatever you need to make your trip a success. Chad up at the Pines Resort, they can offer that. They do have some new menu items, such as elk burgers and bison burgers, and then a ton of new ice cream flavors to go along with that. So if you're looking to get up to Lake Winnie and you need a place to stay, go ahead and call Chad from the Pines Resort. Now, if you're looking to hire a guide up on Lake Winnie, Scott Zupfer from zupsguideservice, he is the premier walleye guide out on Lake Winnie. He is absolutely hammering the fish right now. If you want to get up to Lake Winnie, learn how to catch those fish, have a blast doing it, Scott is the guy to call. He does have some openings the end of May and end of June, and then quite a few openings into July and August. Along with, he is offering twilight trips, which run from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., and he does have quite a bit of availability with those. So give him a call, see what's available, and book a awesome walleye trip up on Lake Winnie. All right, now moving over to Leech Lake. Just like every other lake, the cold weather really shut down the walleye bite. Although there was a pretty decent perch bite going on right on through that cold weather. As far as the walleye bite goes, they're finding those in that 5 to 14 foot of water. Main lake points, big sand flats, out in front of Brindley's Harbor and Acorn Hill Resort on that first break, they're finding some. And still the best methods for catching those is a jig and minnow. Although it is very important to have a slip bobber rig with a carton of leeches handy, because if you find some of those walleyes that are a little bit stubborn, if you can pitch a slip bobber right on top of them, they're more than likely going to eat that leech right now. Now, as far as the perch bite goes, they're catching the perch in a lot of those same areas, especially out in front of Acorn Hill Resort. That 7 to 11 foot of water is holding a lot of nice perch. They're pitching jigs and minnows or slip bobbers and some night crawlers and leeches and catching a bunch of really nice perch right now. Now, as far as the panfish bite goes, up in Sucker Bay, over in Boy Bay, 7 to 11 foot of water on the milfoil is where they're finding the majority of those. Throwing slip bobbers or jigs and minnows or jigs and a 2-inch paddle tail is working very well for some really big crappies, and they're getting some nice bluegills mixed in with those. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Leech Lake, Acorn Hill Resort, they have a beautiful property up there. They do have some cabins available, and they are running a special from now up until June 6th. If you book 2 nights, you get your 3rd night free. Along with that, they just opened up their brand new bar and restaurant, Loaded Loon Bar and Grill. They have some phenomenal food and drinks up there, along with rental boats, live bait, and just about anything else you could ask for to make your fishing trip a success. So if you're looking to get up to Leech Lake this coming weekend or in the future, go ahead and give Kyle a call from Acorn Hill Resort. All right, guys, well, that's going to do it for this week's fishing report. We really appreciate you tuning in. If you get out fishing, take some pictures, send them to us on Facebook or to our Gmail. We will do our best to feature you in next week's fishing report. Yeah, when you do make it out fishing, remember, don't crowd your neighbor. Be respectful of other fishermen. If somebody needs some help at the boat landing, offer a helping hand, wear your life jacket, and most importantly, don't forget to get on out there and get living.